So as y'all can see, we got the New Holland back and got it back just in time because today is, today's about the 15th of December, I think, maybe. What is the date today? 15th, yeah, today's the 15th of December. And we just fed our first roll of hay to the cattle today, primarily because the grass is pretty much done. We've still got some areas that we can rotate through, but it's raining today. I didn't want to move them onto a new spot today, so I decided that I would just feed a roll of hay. We'll be, I mean, it's time. You know, it's time for us to start feeding a few rolls of hay. I've only got 11 cattle, so, you know, we won't be feeding a roll every day. A roll should do that group for at least 2 days, maybe even 3, but we'll see how that ends up working out. Sorry about the echo, we're in the shop, but as y'all can see, we got the New Holland back and we got it back just in time. I initially was gonna do this video that was gonna be, you know, a pretty harsh review of the shop that done the work on this tractor. But after using it today, getting it out, running it, operating it, I have no issue whatsoever with the work that was done. The work that was been done on this tractor has been top notch. And we'll take y'all around, show you some things that we had done, talk about some of the things that we had added, some of the service work that was done, and some of the add-ons that I did not expect that these guys provided me with. So I'm very, very happy with the work. The timeline, the communication, was not very happy with that. I'll tell you a little bit about that here in a few minutes, but let's just do a quick walk around the tractor, and I'll show you the work that we had done, and we'll talk about what those guys fixed for us. All right, quick reminder, this is our New Holland TN70SA, and that SA stands for steering assist. This front axle, y'all might have seen this on some videos, that front axle will actually articulate left and right whenever you cut your steering real hard, and you really can turn this thing around on a dime. It will almost pirouette. But anyway, this tractor, I don't remember the year on it. It was on the paperwork, but I just don't remember what the year on it was. When we bought this farm, we bought this tractor and some implements that went along with it. Previous owner made us a great deal in it, so we decided to buy it. We got the tractor, came with a hay spear, I think a 7-foot bucket, a rotary cutter, set of forks, and also a boom mower that went on the back, and we've since sold the boom mower. But made me a great deal on the tractor, and whenever we initially bought it and bought the property, I think it had about 1,300 hours on it. Well, over the past couple of months, the tractor turned over 1,500 hours, and I told Sandra that it was time to do a little bit of maintenance on it. You know, fluids needed changing and that kind of thing. So we contacted our local New Holland dealer and had it sent down and had some work done. And I'll talk a little bit about that experience here in just a few minutes. But I thought I wanted to go through and kind of show you some of the things that have been repaired and replaced and done to the tractor, and just kind of the shape that it's in now. I am very, very happy with it. So we'll just start up here on the operator station. And first off, I was having a whole lot of warning lights that were coming on the control panel. Whenever I would start it up, you know, there's some stuff that comes on now. These will all go off whenever I actually start the tractor. So there were some switches, some solenoid sending units, that kind of thing. I don't know exactly what all they had to change, but they fixed a lot of that. And so that solved those problems. I got a new selector switch that where you select whether you're going in forward or reverse, put it in neutral. That's much more responsive now, works great. We replaced, so the joystick, totally new joystick, we'll talk a little bit about it here in a minute. Totally new joystick. The boot around the joystick had torn and the connections in there had gotten really, really loose. It was super sloppy, almost to the point that the front end loader was not usable. So all of that is now fixed, and this is very, very responsive, very touchy. It's real similar to that Kubota excavator that we got, and it is just smooth as silk, as is this now. So it works really, really good. The throttle is much more responsive now, easier to use. Before it had gotten pretty tight, pretty stiff. Now very easy to change the throttle up and down, and this sets your engine idle speed. So whenever you're moving along, you don't have to step on that little pedal down there to speed it up. You can just select your speed with that right there. Gear shifts, everything's the same there. The tractor sounds a whole lot different. I mean, it's much, much better. They adjusted on my emergency brake. It's very responsive as well, holds nice and tight, so they fixed that for me. Whenever I had it sent down, when I talked to the service advisor, I told him I wanted the full service done on it. He said, do you want just new filters or do you want all the fluids changed? I said, man, I want all the fluids changed. I'm gonna keep this thing around. This is the last tractor that I probably will ever own, probably. Would be nice if it had a cab, but for what we do around here, I mean, this tractor, I mean, it checks all the boxes. Works great for moving hay, it mows well. We put the forks on there. It's got a lot of lift capacity. I can lift 2,000 pounds on this tractor without having any counterbalance on the back. It's a beast of a tractor. It's a 70 horsepower. It's a heavy, heavy tractor. The wheels are outset. It's got a great footprint. It's very balanced. And it sits to the ground, and you know, I've never felt unsteady or unsafe on this tractor. It's a beast. I was having some trouble with my skid steer quick attach. I had something that was bent, out of square, not connected. I don't know what the problem was, but whenever I would put an attachment on, I would have to tilt this thing all the way back to get that far lever over there, that far plate to seat so that you could latch it down. Had them fix that. I was afraid that we had bent the whole skid steer quick attach and we're going to have all of that replaced. They got that fixed. I put the hay spear on there a few minutes ago. This thing works like it should. I mean, the handles just pop right into place. No issue, no problem. Works great. Now, for the big item that we had put on this tractor. Right here it is. We had a third function valve put on this tractor so that we can run a grapple. Now, on that old Coyote, that 40 horsepower Coyote that I had, and right here's the, right there's the control module, all of the hydraulic hoses and valves and all that kind of thing. And that's where this new joystick comes into play. We got the buttons back here to engage, to open and close the grapple whenever we get it put on there. Don't have a grapple yet, but we're gonna get one to go on here, because that's one of the things that I missed the most after I sold that Coyote, was not having a grapple. Like I said, had that 40 horsepower Coyote, we had a grapple that went on it, went on the front. That was great for moving brush, picking up logs, just whatever, and I really missed that. Told Sandra I'd like to get one back. She said, send your tractor down there and get it serviced. get your third function valve put on. So they went ahead and put that on there. They did put the flat face couplers on there, so I like that. I'm glad to have those. So I just need to find a grapple now. I've looked around, man, those things have gone up in price since that last one I bought. I think that last one I bought, of course, now it was only a 5 foot. I think it's like $1,200. To get a 6 or 7 foot, which is something that, you know, this tractor absolutely could handle, and if you're going to put a grapple on it, I mean, don't take a Zebco 222 to go shark fishing with. Get you a good grapple. So I'm going to need something that's like 6 or 7 foot to go on this thing that will actually work and pick up stuff that we can do some moving of material with. So that's pretty much all the work that they done to it. Serviced it, got those lights fixed. There were a couple things that had to be repaired there. We got the third function valve put on. We got the skid steer quick attach fixed. We got our joystick fixed. Like I said, this was very responsive whenever I was out there feeding hay to the cows a few minutes ago. Much different. I mean, much different. The tractor even sounds different. It's much more responsive. The controls are smooth. I mean, those guys done a fantastic job. And here's something that they did that I didn't ask them to do, but they done it, and it's just a super nice touch. Super nice touch. I know the tires are muddy, but they washed it. I mean, they washed this thing and cleaned it up. It has not looked this good since I initially bought it. But I mean, they cleaned this thing up. They washed the wheels. They cleaned the operator's platform off. I had a bunch of junk and trash and dirt. I've got a towel up there. A bunch of junk and trash and dirt up there, so they got all that off. I mean, they done a bang up job. And it seems like, from what I can tell right now, the quality of work that these guys done is just exceeds expectations. That's all I can say. They just exceeded my expectations with the quality of work that they done. And so, you know, I really can't fuss about what they done. Tickled to death with the work. All right, there it is. Glad to get the tractor back. Didn't realize how much I miss it till it's not been here. So, like I said, very happy with the work. Pleased with the job that they done. The added extras are nice. Adjusted on that throttle cable, I don't think they had to do that. Washing it, they absolutely didn't have to do that. But everything else, I mean, the work is just top notch. The problem that I had with the service shop, I had called the service shop on October the 21st to inquire about getting some work done, and the service advisor told me that. He said, well, let me check. He said, can you bring it? I said, no, I need a truck to come get it. They've got a service. They'll come get it for you. He said, okay, let me check the truck schedule and I'll call you back. Well, the 21st, I think, was on Monday. Can't see the calendar. 21st, I think, was on Monday. On Thursday or Friday, on Friday, I called him back and said, hey, what'd you ever find out about the truck? He said, well, I thought we were waiting on you to get back to me with the VIN number. And I said, no, we're waiting on you for the truck schedule. He came back, he looked, and he said, yeah, that's right, I'm sorry. I said, yeah, we can come get it today. So they came and picked that tractor up on October the 25th. About 2 weeks later, hadn't heard anything, so I called and said, hey, just checking on my tractor, what's the status, what's the story? And he said, oh, well, we're not going to get to it for another 2 weeks. And I said, what do you mean you're not going to get to it for another 2 weeks? He said, unless you tell me different, we come and get it and then we work it in. If you need it till it's time to work on it, then you need to tell me that. And I said, well, you never said anything about that. And so I wasn't going to do any good to argue, so hung up, called back, asked to speak to the general manager, got him on the phone, explained the situation to him. He went and looked at the calendar, came back, said, we might be able to get it in a week and a half, but it's probably going to be 2 weeks. I said, okay, understand. Let me look at the calendar. This is November the 8th. November the 8th. And so he said, yeah, be a week and a half, 2 weeks, best we can do. I said, okay. And we talked a little bit about, might not be a bad idea for you to talk with your service staff about, expectation setting, and just so people know, because, this tractor's going to be out of service for me now for 4 weeks. I'm going to be without a tractor for 4 weeks. I can make it work, but it's super inconvenient. If I had known, I would not have sent that tractor down until it was time for it to actually go in the shop and get the work done. So he said 2 weeks. So that would have put me at November the 28 and 16, November the 24th, which was going to be the Friday after Thanksgiving. Well, nothing happens around the holidays. I get that. It's just part of it. So I called them back week before last, which would have been around December the 7th, 8th, something like that. Said, hey, I want to check on my, no, it'd been, oh man, I need to write this stuff down, don't I? That would have been around December the 4th or 5th. December the 4th or 5th. And I said, hey, I called the service department. I said, hey, what's the story on the tractor? Told him who it was. He said it's over at another shop that they use. I'm trying not to use any names because I don't want to beat these guys up too bad, because the work that they've done is just impeccable. He said, hey, it's over at another shop. They do the third function valve work for us. Let me call them. Hung up. Dude called me right back about 10 minutes later, said they said that they hoped it would be done Monday evening. So I said, okay, that's fine. At this stage, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I asked him for an estimate on it. He gave me an estimate on the cost of the work. I said, well, I'm probably going to sell a kidney to get this done, but okay. And so then on Wednesday of this past week, which would have been 14th, about the 10th, called me back, said, hey, got your tractor ready. You want to come by and pay, or do you want to pay over the phone? So I ended up paying over the phone, and they ended up delivering the tractor back up here on Wednesday afternoon. And so Wednesday was 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, December the 10th, I believe December the 10th. So this tractor was gone from October the 25th till December the 10th. So almost 2 months. But that's the frustrating part, is I don't feel like the communication was there like it should have been. They didn't call me to say this is what's going on, this is what's happening, unless I called them. And so the communication part, I would have to rate an F. If I were giving it a grade, I would rate the communication an F. The work, I would grade absolutely an A. And the cost, it's an F too, but what are you going to do whenever you're dealing with the dealership and they start adding in, our labor hours, and they spend a lot of time on it. So the work was expensive, but glad to get it back. So that's been my tractor experience and my tractor story. So we'll address something else. Y'all are probably going to see this video. If I get down to the house and get it edited and that kind of stuff, I may get it out tonight. Probably going to be tomorrow morning, Monday morning. Going to end up being about 2 weeks since we done the video. Had a buddy of mine reach out to me yesterday, said, hey man, it's been 11 days since you've done a video. I'm just checking on you. Are you okay? And I responded back and said, well, I was waiting to see how many days I would have to go before you actually checked on me, because I never hear from you. No. So I said, yeah, we're going to be getting a video out. So I've got a little bit of explaining to do there on why we have not done a video lately. So at my work, I oversee 3 regional offices across North Carolina. There's one in the western part of the state, one in the central part of the state, one in the eastern part of the state. And the gentleman that actually runs the western office is retiring at the end of this year. After 30 years of service, a distinguished career, he is hanging up and going to spend time with his family, and so he is retiring. So my boss has asked me to fill in that office on an interim basis until we can a lot of change. I'll explain that in a minute. My boss has asked me to fill in at that office until we can kind of get some things settled down. Well, not only is our manager retiring, but we're also working to home base the staff that's in that office, and part of that is actually closing down the physical location. So I've had to be on site over there a lot lately for companies to come in and do shredding of paperwork, picking up IT equipment, movers are coming tomorrow. Then we got to do a final cleaning and then a final walkthrough so that we can hand over the keys to that particular office, because between rent and IT costs, it's just gotten exorbitant for us to continue to pay that based on the amount of use that we get out of that space. And so I've been tied up with work. I was on the road, I think 4 days this past week, a couple days over there, retirement celebration for my guy that's retiring. I was out doing some provider visits and inspections and some of those kinds of things that our office does. So I've been very, very busy with work and have just not had a chance to do a lot of videos. So that was the purpose in, that's why we've not done a video. I've been up here in the shop at night doing a little bit of work on these timber frame and sawhorses. I talked about those on a previous video, and you know, I told y'all that we were going to try to do that together. Well, I got in here and got to working and shot some footage of that, and I am such a novice and so horrible at it that it was not lending itself very well to shooting video. So I've had to go back and relearn. I couldn't put anything together, couldn't get my mind around a good story and around doing a video on the timber frame and building those timber frame sawhorses. So that's another reason why we've not had a video out. So hopefully we're going to get this office thing kind of cleared up. We can kind of get settled back into a little bit more of a regular routine, and I can get back to shooting videos on a much regular basis. I have not given up on YouTube. I have not stopped. Sandra and I are both healthy and well. I've invested in some new camera equipment to do more videos with, so working on some of that. But we've not quit. I've just had some other things that I've had to try to get done, and holidays are coming. It's just a busy time. It's just a busy time. It's raining, weather's crummy, there's not a lot to do. I'm having trouble coming up with video ideas. There's just, lots of moving parts. But we'll get back in the groove, everything will be fine, and we will take back off, hopefully on getting a couple, 3 videos out per week. So, that's the story there. But for now, I'm going to run to the house, see if I can get this video put together. We might get it out tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. We'll see how that goes. But like we always say, please keep us in your prayers. May God bless you and your family. Start to say you and your videos. May God bless you and your videos. Good Lord. May God bless you and your families. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.